Greetings. Welcome to Limitless Alchemy 808. I'm Patience. It's World Goth Day, and in honor of that, I just wanted to share some spooky stories because why not? And if you are also a goth or appreciate goth subculture, then bat. And if you don't yet, then hi. So with any subculture, it's definitely a mindset and a base of principles that bring groups of us together. So it's just, with the whole like goth is about music and literature and art and architecture, not necessarily fashion. But then again, you see trends and styles that those within subcultures adopt to express themselves with the music and art and everything. And it's just more so to not be commercialized. I mean, in capitalism, free enterprise, anything and everything, if it's supply and demand, if you buy it, they will make it. So it's really about, if you walk into Michael's, you can find their new goth collection every season, and that's awesome. But I really hope they're actually consulting goths for their phrases, because I seem more like ChatGPT, but some stuff is cute, but I don't know. Anyway, I just shopped during Halloween, so the great thing about being a part of those subcultures, goth, punk, hip-hop, rap, all of those are, and honestly, I believe I've said this before, I'll include that video, but anything on the radio is pop. Anything at all. Anything and everything you hear played on corporate media radio is pop. I love pop. I'll listen to Britney Spears, I'll listen to certain songs, whatever, like, Lady Gaga, all of them, like, there's even a song by Nelly Furtado, actually, like, but it's not so much the genres, it's how the music makes you feel. So, a lot of people see goths as depressed and suicidal, or, wanting to self-exit YouTube. And while, depression and those ideations exist throughout all of society, because we are society. It's just that when we start grouping into these subcultures, we're reflecting to each other the parts of us that we're fed up with, that we don't align, and we wish to change, we wish to see change. And that is why there's a song by Ministry called Every Day is Halloween, and in there he says, why can't they see they're just like me? When we're And then there's another video that I have where I went to see Mayhem, and that's also another subculture, metal. And then metal has like all these other little subcultures within it. But as does punk too. But you're becoming this undeniable mirror to others about the issues and concerns that how to express, like, the concerns that are growing and growing, because there's more and more people that are shifting from certain mindsets into these mindsets that many of us have already been in, and that is immense affirmation of the direction that as a whole we're heading. I just feel the void is done with separation. I feel the void is implementing integration more and more, because there is a brand new experience for all of us. A brand new experience that the void has been cooking up for so long. And time is illusory. I mean, it's just eons and eons and eons. I mean, even in the Bible, when in Genesis, so King James decided to put days, but actually it's eons that all of this was created. And eons are immeasurable. Eons are unquantifiable. So that is why you have all the time in the world. Like, literally, time works for you. Time, you have more than enough time to do anything you want. There's, I mean, yes, there's a sense of call to action, right? But don't beat yourself up if you're not first. So hopefully that sheds some light on these aspects, and let's get into the spooky stories. I don't want to go too long here, but you know, who cares? Like, why not? Let's hang out. Hey, so I got interrupted, and I decided to re-record the scary stories portion because I went really off tangent there, and I don't want this video to be too long, although maybe I do, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, so when I moved with my dad when I was 11, I had at that point decided to start practicing witchcraft. Why not? And I would play pencils with some friends that I had made in the new school, and you get dull pencils, so you know, blunt end, you're not bleeding or being poked or anything. It's just kind of like a point of pressure, kind of like an acupuncture tool. And you have the writing ends in your palms, and then the eraser ends are converging at the center with 4 of them, and you have someone else holding, and you ask the pencils questions, and they move in and out, and those give you your answers. So I did that for, you know, a little bit of time, and one night I couldn't go to sleep and just happened to look up at my ceiling and saw the shadow of a horned figure cast on on the ceiling. I was like, oh, it's the devil. Well, maybe I should stop playing pencils. So Mom thought, like, they're all just aspects of us, but I stopped that. But in my grandparents' house, I mean, so many things have happened in that house, so many stories that my family members tell, especially my cousin, and but I'm gonna focus on my experiences in that house. So saw the shadow cast and stopped that, and about a year and a half later, my grandmother transitioned, and I'll speak about that in another video because I had quite an interesting experience when she transitioned. But so when I was about maybe 17, I had met my former husband online, and we would talk on the phone at night, and we're the same age. So we would talk at night, and I was pretty much the only person on my side of the house, and my dad was in his room, my grandpa's in his room. You could hear when my grandpa would come out of his room, but what I was hearing was this animal just tearing ass up and down the hallway, just up and down, up and down. I'm like, what the heck? So I open my door and nothing's there, absolutely nothing. And I'm telling my ex, like, I hear this animal running up and down the hall, but when I open the door, nothing's there. And he's like, oh, well, you said a lot of things happen in the house, maybe it's a ghost. And I was like, probably. I mean, I hear something, but I don't see anything. So I told my dad about it, and he's like, oh, that's my cat, Chet, though. I was like, oh, nice, I love cats. And he's like, yeah, he used to do that all the time. I'm like, oh, it's the zoomies. Okay, got it. Well, after that, at one point, my cousin moved in with us, and he took over my old room, and I moved into my grandma's old room, and I had my bed in a corner of the room that was under the window, and I had these long, sheer black curtains, just there on the window. And one night I was sleeping, and my eyes just shot open, and I see this figure standing over me in the curtain, and it was huge. It was almost as tall as the curtain rod, which was like, I would say that was at least 7 or 8 feet high, and it was, bent over me. I was looking at it, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna turn over to the wall here, close my eyes, and go back to sleep, because I knew the best thing to do was to just ignore it, because it was just a shroud. Shrouds are very curious. They're not fully formed yet, and they're just intrigued by, the energy within such a shell as this, such a vessel as this. And never saw it again since then. But there was just lots of other different things that went on in that house. And then one of the last experiences that I had there before I moved out into my first apartment was my best friend from high school, her boyfriend, who had also gone to school with us, and my best friend Alta. We all went to go get Starbucks, and we went to get coffee, And we go back to the house and no one's there. It's just us. And we're sitting in the kitchen, and I was telling them all the stories that my cousin had relayed to me, and a story about the main bedroom that my dad had told me happened to him when he was little. So they were all like, ooh, let's go look at it. So I was like, okay. So we're walking down the hallway, and the wall to that bedroom is the wall for the living room, and there's the big couch there. And we turn the corner, and as we're about to even enter the hallway, all you hear is this huge slam against that wall. It was as if a body was thrown against that wall. And it was just this huge bang followed by bangs on the wall, like a couple bangs. And we all just looked at each other and we're like, we don't want to check it out anymore. We left. We did not stay. And you know, that house got sold. I wonder how those people are doing in there. They're probably fine. They're probably not bothered at all. So but you know, some other experience that I had was at my ex's, when we had got back together, and after breaking up for about a year, and I was about like 20, maybe 21, and they were at his grandma's house because they were getting stuff ready for estate sale. They were gonna have her move into a convalescent home, and I was at his house all by myself. No one else was there, and I was getting ready, and I heard those bangs again. They were on the wall of his closet, which was adjoining to the bathroom. And I was like, I'm gonna go. I left. I just left. After that, there would just be like weird different things, like in his house, well, in his mom's house, at one point after the family dog had passed away, I could hear something scratching at the back door. The door was open, but on the screen door, I could hear like a scratching and a tapping, and when I looked at the door, nothing was there. He never did that, but I just found it interesting that it happened after he passed away. And then I just always had an uneasy feeling in that house. But when I moved in 2020 to my townhouse, a townhouse in Rosemead. Rosemead is an interesting portal. It's so active, like you can't even believe how active it is. In that townhouse, when I had first toured it, I knew something was there. I could feel it watching me as I toured the house. And when I moved in July of 2020, I was all by myself. My sister and her husband were about to move down, but they were wrapping things up in San Jose. My kids were with their dad. So I was moving in, unpacking and everything, and cleaning out the refrigerator our uncle had given to us. And the whole time I was cleaning the refrigerator, I could feel something watching me from the stairwell. So this townhouse was like a tri-level, you had the garage below, you went up some stairs, and then you were on the main floor with the kitchen and the living room. And you go up a short flight, and there was 2 bedrooms, my bedroom, my son's bedroom, and then the hall bath. And then another flight of stairs as you turn around and go up, and it was the main suite, which my sister and my brother-in-law lived in. And they had their own bathroom and walk-in closet and another closet. Like, basically the whole half of the floor plan was their room, because it was the 3rd level. So they had a huge room. And I could just feel something watching me from the staircase, and it was all dark over there. I didn't have all the lights on because, you know, whatever. And so I was just blasting the pornography album by The Cure and cleaning out the fridge. And then I didn't have my bed. I didn't have like a mattress or anything yet, so I didn't have a bed, but my sister and brother-in-law's bed was there because our uncle had gone up to San Jose before I moved in and brought all their stuff down, and then he brought all their stuff and moved it up into their room for me, and their bed was there. So I was sleeping on their bed. Honestly, I heard the sound of hooves on the roof practically the whole time that I was trying to sleep in their room. It sounded like something was dancing up there. It did. I was like, okay, maybe it's some sort of animal. I'm just gonna go to sleep. I'm so tired. So I went to sleep. Well, we fully move in and we're just living there, and I start hearing things all the time, like, so they wouldn't be home and I'd be home alone. No one would be home. I'd be home alone, and I could hear someone come out of their room, close their door, go down the stairs, and go into the hall bath, or go all the way down the stairs down to the garage, and no one else was there. It's just me. And I'm like, okay. And then again, I would hear banging, like the staircase, because it was so tall, you know, elevated ceiling, because it went up to the 3rd floor. It just sounded like something was up in the far corner, just like banging on the walls, just banging on the walls. I'm just like, okay. And my son had told me that he had seen things down the staircase that, like, you know, just like beings, different beings. And I would hear so basically there were poltergeists there. I could hear like the kitchen cabinets being open and closed all the time. It was just like constant activity. So I was like, oh, let me get some sage. I'd never used sage before, but I was like, I gotta do something here. So went and got some sage, and the night that I wanted to sage the house, my sister and brother-in-law were supposed to help me, but they ended up falling asleep. So I was like, what do I do? And then the banging just got incessant. Like, honestly, I don't know how they didn't hear it and come out of the room, because it was just so loud. So I left. I met up with a friend and just like hung out, because I could not be there. And there would be times where like I wouldn't even sleep there because I couldn't. The banging was just, it wouldn't stop, and just constant, like, it sounded like parties in their room and people running down the stairs and banging the doors and banging the cupboards, and it was just a lot. So then I was finally able to sage the house, and it died down a little bit, but then it just picked back up again. It would not stop. So I just started ignoring it. I just started like not paying attention to it, and there was even times that I saw a figure in my room. Is a very tall, thin, gray wisp of a man. He was dressed in 1880s attire, and my son saw him too. In fact, my eldest, was the one who told me that he had seen him first. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I had seen him as well. He was in my room by the window. So it was just a lot going on there. But came October of 2021, we were moving out because my sister and my brother-in-law were working at Amazon and they wanted to move closer to there. So we were moving, and one night when my sons were home, they were up in their room and watching TV and whatever, and I was taking pictures of stuff to sell on OfferUp because I didn't want to move everything, because I was moving to one bedroom and couldn't take all that stuff. So I was selling off things and I was putting things away. And in the living room, you know, there's the door to the garage with stairs. And the way the door was if you didn't pull it hard enough, it wouldn't close all the way. Well, it was closed. It was closed, and it opened on its own as I was putting the stuff away. And as it was slowly opening, I could hear this hissing, like skittering sound, and I knew that it was the entity in that house, in that was attached to that house. So I was like, I'm just gonna ignore it. I went up the stairs, told my kids, hey boys, time for bed, shut their door. Went in my room, shut my door, and just watched TV till I fell asleep, because what else was there to do? And when I had moved to my apartment in Covina after that, it could have been all the stress, but my kids were asleep in the room and I was putting stuff away in the kitchen and the living room, and I was, you know, moving back and forth from boxes to boxes, whatever. And at one point I had seen a little girl in like you know, Shirley Temple style, with sausage curls and everything, pigtails, sitting on my counter, kicking her legs. But where her face was, she had all teeth. Kind of like, I think is those Japanese demons, but, or entities or some, I forget what they're called, but yeah, and it was just like a split second. She was there sitting on the counter, kicking her legs. And I was just like, oh, okay, I'm tired. Should probably get some sleep. There's a lot of stress. Moving is quite stressful. But it's necessary sometimes. So, and then in that apartment, I mean, I would have dreams. So like, I remember having a dream of that entity from the townhouse hiding in my shower there at Covina and taunting me. And I just told him off. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you have no business being here. But not too many things happened in that apartment. But when I moved to my other apartment, when I moved in with my ex that I dated through the pandemic, so many things happened in that apartment. Like, in our room, the blinds behind our bed would always be moving, and the windows not open. There was no central air in that apartment, no ceiling fan, so no airflow at all, and the blinds would just be swaying on their own, just swaying, 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 swaying. Reminds me of when I had went to Alpha's house when we first started hanging out, and I had asked to spend the night because I was having issues at home with my dad and my stepmom. So we were gonna stay in his living room, and he had told me that some things that went on at his house, and in fact one of his uncles had died in their backyard because he tried to dive into the pool and hit his head, and he died. So we're sitting in the living room watching TV, and the dining room is like behind the separator wall, and it's got these wood spindles, you know, just as a mid-century house in West Covina, and it's pitch black in that dining room and pitch black in the kitchen adjoining, and we're sitting there, and from behind the separator wall, we both heard, "Hey, hey," and we just looked over there, and then the blind, like, I'm getting chills, the blinds, I'm sitting in the lazy boy by the blinds, all the blinds just moved, like someone ran their finger across them, and they just started moving, and I was like, can we spend the night in the car? And he's like, yeah. So we left and slept in the car that night. But yeah, so in my most recent apartment, it would just be all kinds of stuff, like my lampshade would constantly move. I had found like a Tiffany style lampshade thrifting and put it on a lamp that I had, but I didn't have a little bolt to secure it. So it was fine on there, but it would, you know, sway if you tipped it. And one time my ex and I were watching TV with my eldest, and he's very skeptical about everything, you know, paranormal or whatever, although he's just in denial because he's scared, but that's fine. Like, I'm sure, you know, he'll get over it one day. But the lampshade is clearly swaying, and I told my ex, I was like, look, the lampshade is swaying on its own. He's like, oh, it must be the fan. And I went over there, I'm like, is my hair moving? He's like, no. I was like, okay, it's not the fan. And he's like, I was like, yeah, it's just energy. It's just energies that are coming into play. Like, there's really nothing to be afraid of. Like, I always wonder why people are afraid of ghosts. Like, that's literal confirmation of life after death. If you're experiencing supernatural shit, then that is your affirmation that this is not the end. This is not the only thing. There's so much more. It should give you joy. It should give you peace. But, you know, it's okay. What we don't comprehend, we tend to fear. Once we comprehend it, we're okay. But yeah, and I had seen like, I did see like another type of shroud in that apartment. It was in my son's room, and I would have their door closed when they weren't home, and I could see movement under the doorway when I would go into my room, and I'd open the door and nothing's in there, and be like, okay. One point I had their door open, and Alta had come over to hang out for the weekend, and from where he was sitting, he's like, something's in the boy's room. And I was like, yeah, it's a shroud. And he's like, well, he's playing peekaboo right now. So I went and looked, and yeah, he was like doing this like he's just playing peekaboo with us. I was like, okay. So I just broke out the selenite and put it by the front door, and I was like, hey man, if you're got ill intentions and you got to see yourself out, like, just follow the selenite. So and he left. And even in my new home, I've seen beings, I've heard things, stuff's fallen, stuff moves on its own. Like I said, it's just energies coming into play. They're all just aspects of us. There's nothing to be afraid of. Literally nothing at all. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. So I hope you enjoyed these spooky stories, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Please share your favorite scary stories down below, because I'd love to read them. I love the energy exchanges that we have in these videos, and I look forward to more interactions with you. Stay soft, stay sweet, and stay pure. Don't forget to subscribe and check this video out. Love ya.